Hold my tongue never. I say what I feel. Look you in the eye. Never ran, never will. Hold my own destiny. Both hands on the wheel. In the darkness they found light. So at the top of your lungs scream, this ain't life. So when they move left, you move right. You move right. Hold my tongue never. I say what I feel. Look you in the eye. Never ran, never will. Hold my own destiny. Both hands on the
Well, hey, good evening and welcome to LUDE Presents Rabbit Holes. Well, tonight I got some guests. I'm joined by the infamous Funkhauser, who is our first returning guest. So, Funkhauser, thanks for joining us again. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Good, boss man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. Very welcome. We also have one of those new friends we talk about. So, we're also joined by Andrew Calvino. Andrew, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm so hyped to be on the show with you guys. So this is gonna be fun.
Awesome.
Hell
Awesome.
yeah.
So, we kind of like to keep it in the dark a little bit. Tonight our main talking point, we're going to talk about something that a lot of people know a lot about, and then there's a lot of people who don't even go near it. It's Pokemon and Pokemon trading cards. But before we do that, I just want to give you guys a little bit of time to let everyone know about your platforms again. So, Funkhauser, go ahead and give a little shout out to your show.
Yeah, so part of the Living Room Champs broadcast network. Find our pods on, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your pods. Specifically, I'm on the Fantasy Funkhouse, the fantasy football content. But we got mostly football, a lot of sports related. We got some pro wrestling from Mikey and Len. We got the entertainment center, so new movies, new shows, all kind of stuff. Probably some new shows or episodes coming out to you. Right now it's football season. That's going to be mostly our target. We got a GoFundMe we started for a close friend of ours, John Dillman. He was involved in a pretty rough car accident beginning of September. So, the response for that has been amazing. A lot of bad injuries. The rehab will be extensive, at least a year plus. So anybody that can donate whatever you can, we really appreciate it. We set the goal at 10 grand. That was obliterated in like a day and a half. So
Awesome.
right now we're sitting just south of 14,000. So amazing, and thank you everybody that donated. And it is still live, so if you can jump on over to the GoFundMe, and we'll get the link to you.
Yes, definitely a shout out to John. Known him for a long, long time. So thanks for that, sir. And Andrew, why don't you tell us and maybe your audience, hopefully they listen, and our audience a little bit about you and your platform, and then we'll get started here.
All right. Hey guys, my name is Andrew Calvino. I am a content creator normally within the fitness and sports nutrition market, but I am known to drop some Pokemon cards from my collection from time to time. So once I had the opportunity to connect with these guys, I thought it was going to be a really fun and unique way to share one of my hobbies and something that I enjoy doing. And I also do have a podcast called Content Inspire, where I interview people within business owners, sports nutrition, content creators, you name it, and I ask them what's their why, what's the reason why they get up in the morning and they do the amazing things that they do. So I'm very happy to have that platform, and I have a feeling tonight's episode with you guys, it's gonna be fun, dude.
Yes, yes, definitely. And like all the things you guys touched on, that's what this show is. It's everything. There's nothing we can't talk about here. Well, I take that back. There's a few things we probably shouldn't talk about, but no limits. So whatever rabbit holes you guys want to go down, you're free to go down. So before we get started, I do want to say this topic kind of it came from, Funkhauser and I talking, but another thing that kind of interested me was I have a big hobby with trading cards. And since the pandemic, that's kind of taken off again. It
Exactly.
wasn't much of anything. And then all of a sudden it was. So in doing this episode, I also want to give a shout out to some guys that I met through Twitter from Whiteout Weekly. I won a contest on their Twitter, and I just want to first tell them that it was a great advertisement they did. They put out hey, like this and join us here, and we'll give out Saquon Barkley rookie cards. So I saw that and I was like, yes, I
Wow.
got to do that. So I did that, and I actually won their thing. I won a rookie Micah Parsons card, and they sent it to me FedEx, and I got it here with me right now. So Whiteout Weekly, thank you.
That's
That leads
great.
me into what I'm going to call Ultimate Homer on my podcast. And Ultimate Homer is where anybody can talk about their favorite, team or whatever, and just give a statement about, how great they are. So I want to do my hashtag Ultimate Homer. I said this in the last episode, but I'm going to say it again. Micah Parsons, give him all the respect in the world because he didn't play football his last year at Penn State. Gonna be in the Hall of Fame, one of the best ever. I'll leave it at that.
I think we've seen enough already. I mean, he's an animal. He's a terror.
He is amazing.
I was reading a fantasy blurb today, and who's Dallas playing this week? The Giants.
Yeah.
They were talking about how rough Daniel Jones's beginning of the year was, and they said good luck against world wrecker Micah Parsons. So I think that fits like a glove.
Yep, he's gonna be good. So with that, trading cards, Pokemon. It's kind of like it's got this persona about it, I remember growing up, that's kind of what it was. But I also remember growing up, I remember my brother had them. I know my kids have them now, but I really don't pay any attention to it. So tonight we're going to treat it kind of like Andrew and Funkhauser are kind of like they might not be experts, but they're way more of an expert than I may be. So we're just going to kind of go through some questions I had and things we talked about. And, just for our audience too, just to get a better understanding. And then, from those questions, wherever the heck we end up, that's where we end up, and we'll have fun doing it. So,
Cool.
To start, when did you guys like get interested in these? Like, has this been something, like I said, the pandemic, is that when it kind of started?
Andrew, go ahead. You can lead us off.
So I actually grew up collecting Pokemon cards. So I remember opening up like classic cards, the base set, Jungle, Rocket set, you name it. So those cards were pretty epic back in the day. And then I grew up, I discovered girls. And unfortunately I lost my collection.
Oh no.
And I think about a year and a half is when I got back into collecting the cards. I opened up a pack randomly. I was like, oh, let me just see what Pokemon cards look like nowadays. And yeah, it was wild. All the new designs for the modern cards. And I was like, all right, this hits. Let's do it.
So with that, did you ever so you lost all those ones that were probably worth a lot of money then, huh?
I don't think I ever had any first edition or
Oh, okay.
It was just like, I guess, from the base set, the Unlimited series.
Okay.
But there were still like pretty amazing badass cards there that I clearly remember to this day, that I'm just there like, damn.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Funkhauser, you just got started within the last couple of years, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, pretty similar timeline, actually. I grew up with them. It was an obsession for kids our age. You know what I mean? I think I was like 9 or 10, maybe 8, something like that. When, I guess what base set came out in 99, 98.
Yeah, it must have been, because I remember my brother was into them
So
too.
yeah,
Around the same age.
I was born in 88, so I was 10. I mean, it did sweep the nation. It was crazy. So the video games, the cards, everything, I was obsessed with it. So was my older brother, a lot of our friends. I remember in TL, we would ride our bikes down to where the town market is now. And I can't remember the store that was there, but there was like Ferris Pizza and a couple other places, but they sold packs there. So we would ride the whole way down to the market and buy packs with probably loose change.
Probably the money you stole from your parents, my guess.
But I mean, I remember Walden Books in the mall. They used to sell them, and I'm just such a sucker for nostalgia that I never really lost, I guess, the interest in it, because it's weird that these little monsters, like the Japanese translation, I believe, is pocket monsters. That's what they have on the back of their cards. So it's an odd thing, but everybody just went nuts for them. So, like Andrew said, you grow up and you think it's not cool. So you don't really want anything to do with it. But there were several other things that you could kind of lump that in with. And then probably right after the pandemic hit, my buddy, his his kid was just getting into that age, and we were at Old Thunder Brewery, and we were helping him get set up to open, and he was showing me some of these new cards, like with the new artwork, like Andrew was saying. And I was like, what the hell is this? Like, why do they look like this now? So it was very interesting. Um, and I just didn't even think they were popular anymore, like, at all, because it was, like I said, it was an obsession with when we were younger, and a lot of people, it has been for the last 20 years, and
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. So that's when I kind of got back into it. um and there was a lot of FOMO at that time, because that's the time when people were like fighting each other to get to the card vendors at Walmart and Target and all these
Yeah, there
places.
were none. There were none on the shelves.
Oh my
That
god.
was not a good time for
Not a good time at all. Terrible time to be a collector, a
yeah,
good time to be a scalper. And
the worst.
now it's kind of a stark contrast, because Pokemon bought a printing company. I think the company that was printing like Magic the Gathering cards and all those other ones, they bought it, and pretty much they shifted 75 or so percent of their business just to Pokemon, and now there's billions and billions of cards coming out. So
So they're not as maybe they're not as valuable now then?
they're not as valuable. They're still pretty valuable. They're not as valuable because the craze took over, and now there's so many people back in it, just like I got back in it, just like Andrew got back in it. Um, but it's more of the, I guess they're easier to find on the shelves. So secondary market wise, eBay, Mercari, all these other places, you could go clean out the shelves and then put a 20% influx on these and sell them online and make money. And that's how a lot of people during the pandemic were making money, because they couldn't work because everything was shut down. So there's a rhyme and reason to kind of all of this, but people had extra, um, what do you call it? The stimulus money and
Stimulus
all this
money.
stuff, and they were bored. They were inside their house. Like, how do I pass the time? And that's how a lot of us kind of got back into it. So,
Yeah, I
um,
would agree with that. I think that's kind of what happened with me with like the trading cards too.
yeah.
Now it's probably similar. Are they doing the same thing with Pokemon as the trading cards? Are they putting like, they sell all these whatever blaster boxes or hobby packs or whatever, but
Yeah.
like once in a while they put the special insert cards in there that are worth money, so it makes you chase them. Is that what they're doing with that too?
Um, I mean, what do you mean by insert cards? Like in the
So
packs
like
or in the boxes?
Like
it,
chase cards.
yeah, like so like NFL, they have the rookie autographs. Like you
Oh
get
yeah, yeah,
one.
they have those.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Pokemon definitely has that. So immediately off the top of my head, there's gonna be a ultra premium Charizard box that has like
Yep.
3 promo Charizard cards that look absolutely insane. And I think
Hmm.
starting price for that is 250, 275 from what I've seen.
Oh
And
my
I
gosh.
know that's gonna sell out in a heartbeat because of 1, Charizard's popularity,
Yeah.
2, limited quantity for that specific product, and 3, um, the cards look sick, dude. They're
Yeah, they are.
absolutely insane. Like, 1 card is the aftermath of a Charizard and Venusaur battle. Another one is a mid-air battle between Charizard and Mewtwo in a very unique, art style. And then the third is a Godzilla-inspired Charizard, like, art, and he looks massive. So, those 3 cards in itself, like, you get that, hold 5, 10, 15, 20 years, game over, dude.
Yep.
Could you imagine the profession of a Pokemon maker? Do you know how great that would be? You just
It would
sit
be
there,
fun. I've thought about that. Yeah.
you just draw the different animals with different features. Oh my gosh, that'd be
Some of
amazing.
them are like so dumb though.
Yeah.
Like especially if you
Correct.
grew up with,
A ditto.
like the first 2 or 3 gens,
Mhm.
the first generation was like Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, those. And then the second generation was like trying to think of good examples, like Lugia
Mhm.
and Ho-Oh and things like that. And then even some of the third gen, I think Rayquaza was the third gen, but
Yep.
after that, I don't really know too much of them. I kind of know that I can recognize them now from opening the cards a bunch, but they just don't interest me a ton. But they do to other people because that's their nostalgia. So like Andrew said, Charizard's always going to be worth something. and a lot of those older ones are, but there's a lot of new ones too that just don't interest me a ton, but I'm sure they interest a lot of people.
So two things from that, and we'll kind of come back to the trading cards. But while you were talking, I was thinking, one, the only reason I'm kind of back interested in it again is because I went to the movie with the kids, the Pokemon movie, and that's a really good movie. Have you guys seen
Detective
that?
Pikachu.
Yes, I
Oh,
like
it's a
that
great
movie a
movie.
lot.
I
I loved it.
actually have not seen that movie, but
Yeah, you need to.
was that what was it? That Ash, it's like the retelling of Pokemon starting from all over again.
I don't think so. I think it's an independent story. Because it's like live action. Um Ash isn't in it. I mean, it could
Oh,
be like a
oh,
reimagining of it.
are you
Um
talking about the detective one?
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you're talking about that one. I haven't seen it. I heard great things about it.
It's very
Yeah.
good.
Um,
The animation was cool too. Like the whatever they called that with the Pokemon were what realistic, I guess. What do you
Right,
call that?
yeah.
yeah.
CGI, yeah.
CGI. And then the other thing I was thinking there is I said this on one of the other episodes, but like another thing is like, how many years ago did they come out with Pokemon Go? That's been at least 5 years, maybe more than that. But it was really big for a while. And I remember like our commissioner Funkhauser used to ride around on his bike and catch Pokemon. But like whenever I go somewhere new, I still find myself whip it out and check it out. But like now there's so many my first thing was like, oh, I want to catch them all. Gotta catch them all. But
Yeah.
then like they kept coming out with more and more and more. And now it's just like, oh my
Mhm.
God.
Yeah, I remember people getting in trouble for, like, driving and trying to catch, the
Oh,
rare ones or whatever. I played it. I never got too into it. I think I only lasted a couple months, but it was pretty fun.
So I still remember the night that Pokemon Go went live. I literally had
Wow.
just finished working my 12-hour shift in the ER, and literally one of my coworkers were like, "It's effing live, dude." And we went outside, and just the fact just to, like, see Pokemon and catch 'em on your phone, that was pretty wild. And I was out in Miami and just, like, seeing places that weren't busy normally filled with people, like, they were all catching it, like,
Right.
it was wild, dude, and I got into it heavy, and me and my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, would go out together and go catch, like, it was pretty epic.
Yeah, it was fun. My little brother, he is maybe a year or two younger than you, and he got into it real hard too. And he would go to, I can't remember what they were, but they were locations where you would um I don't know, I think it would attract the Pokemon in or something like that. Um but he would know where all those were, like around the neighborhood where he lived.
Yeah, I think there were, wow, gyms that you were able to take over, then there was, like, lure or, spots to just, like, get points or equipment or whatever the case
Right.
may be. I
Yeah.
can't remember off the top of
Something
my
like
head.
that.
And yeah, that was just wild, just driving downtown Miami or Delray Beach where we were at and just hitting every single spot and just like, you're good for the whole entire week. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's so cool.
okay. So I was just saying, do you guys always open them or like Funkhauser, you told me how you buy the sealed packs and like what's the end goal for sealed products? Is that like sell it down the road or what?
Yeah, I mean, basically, or just enjoy it later, I guess. Um, it is like a financial investment, like it really is. Andrew, I don't know if you know about this, but there's an app called Collector. It's Collectr, and it's got all kind of like trading card sets on it, and you can input your collection, whether it's sealed or just raw cards or whatever, and it'll give you a literal cash estimate of what your collection's worth.
Oh wow. I've never heard of that. I normally just go off of like TCG player
Trading
or
cards
That's where
too?
it draws all the data, pretty
Or
much.
really.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you
or
it's
for
just
telling me that, dude.
Pokemon?
yeah, it's really cool. And they got like Magic and like uh what's the other one? There's a
Yu-Gi-Oh.
bunch of those. Yeah, there's Yu-Gi-Oh, there's like that MetaZoo one. I don't know if that's new. Um but all those you can input your collection and it'll give you, an estimate of what it is. So I've probably spent um I don't know, somewhere around 3 or 4 thousand bucks on sealed stuff.
Mhm.
And my collection allegedly right now is valued at over 12 grand. So it appreciates quick. And if you can find older stuff at retail, you're just kind of printing money at that point. So, obviously the thing with collectibles is for them to be worth money, you have to find a buyer.
Correct.
It's not just like a stock you can cash in, but there is a market value for this stuff. And, like Andrew was saying about the Charizard collection, that's going to be worth so much money. There was a Celebrations collection last year that came out that had like a gold medal Pikachu and Charizard, and
Mhm.
it's the same type of box. Retails 120 bucks. You'll never find it for that. I think they're going upwards of like 400 right now. Um, so it's wild. The big thing that I've invested in is definitely the Celebration set, um, Evolving Skies, and now I'm trying to get just kind of chip away at Brilliant Stars because there's so many Charizards in that.
Hmm. So I do have some sealed products for my collection from Celebrations because that was such a fun set to open
Yeah.
personally. I completed that set, and now my main goal moving forward is to have like a really good quality, like new mint cards, complete the whole entire set of Team Rocket from back in the day, vintage.
Oh, nice. That'll be
And
hard, but that's awesome.
honestly, I don't think it's gonna be hard just
No,
because if it's new mint, unlimited, it'll be affordable and it won't break the bank.
I was telling the boss man. Basically, PSA went through the roof. My friend Trevor, he collects like all kind of sports cards, and he'll get them graded. And you used to be able to grade a card for like 7-8 bucks. It's like $100 a card now, and that might have went down since then.
Yeah,
But
that's crazy.
there was so many people during the pandemic sending in cards. They had and which is dumb because there were stupid cards to grade because they're not. You got a $10 card, you grade it, it's worth 13 bucks. Who cares? Like, why are you getting that graded? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The whole point of grading is to up the value. So if you get um, a really rare card that's in really good shape, yeah, you want to send that in, but at the same time, you might not get that back for a year because of how backed up they were. Plus, you're going to pay $100+ a card to get it graded.
Yeah. Will it really add the value?
It depends on the card. You could get a shitty grade because it's
Yep,
all
correct.
subjective.
So it's all based on like centering of the card. You
Yep.
name it. There's so many criterias to it. So you could send a card that you think is perfect, right? Like you literally just got it out of the pack, put it into a sleeve, protected it, and you're getting ready to send, and it'll come back an 8 or a 9. And if you didn't get that perfect 10, you're out a couple of hundreds or thousands of
Yeah.
dollars.
You
Yeah,
lost
you
money at that point.
screwed
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah.
And I think the price for grading has gone down through PSA, but I think they have a minimum for bulk now. I think it's like 15 or 25 cards to send in, but
Oh, okay.
then it's like 3 or 400 to
Oh
do.
Yeah.
gosh.
And if you haven't done it before, right? I've never done it. That's why I haven't done it before.
Yeah.
But
Same.
the form, you have to make sure to fill everything out properly. If it is a very expensive card, you have to get insurance on that card.
Yeah.
You have to put what you think the grade criteria or scale is, right? So if you say that this card in your mind is a 10, yet they don't see it that way, they'll send you back the card in a slab but without a grade because it didn't meet that criteria.
Forget that.
So you
Right. Yeah. It's such
got
an odd
screwed
thing.
over. So that's I if I ever do get my collection graded with specific cards, I'll have to go through a middleman to make sure that it's done correctly.
Yeah, I wonder if they do it like at like the trading card shows or anything. I wonder if you take them there. If there's
They do have PSA people come to, and there's a few different companies that do it. I know there's one called CGC
Mhm.
and Beckett BGS. Is I'm sure you know what Beckett is, boss man. If you're into like sports
I
cards and
remember
stuff.
the list. Yeah, the list.
Yeah, my dad used to buy the Beckett books, and he would sell baseball cards and shit all the time. And Beckett was like the end all and be all. It's PSA now, from what I've heard, but Beckett's still very respectable. But there's like 10 other companies now that have kind of come out of the woodwork because of the pandemic and the backup, but
Mhm.
they're not worth grading because nobody recognizes them as like a powerful entity of grading. So you can go get Joe Schmo to grade your card and it's a 10, but it's not worth anything because it's
Yeah.
not, you know,
So you
it's
have
not
to
certified
pay
by
the
the
big
company.
bucks to get the big bucks, pretty
You just
much.
have to have the right people doing it, you know, and it could be graded well and everything, but like if I'm buying a card and I want to buy a graded card, I'm not buying anything that's not a PSA or a BGS.
So kind of like,
Facts.
I know Funkhauser said like, you're holding on to the packs to open them later or whatever. I've kind of found myself, I did the same thing with the trading cards. And
Mhm.
I've decided now that I have the platform here, I'm going to do some live breaks. Do you know how
All right.
addicting those things are?
I'd get in on that. Yeah.
Live breaks are pretty fun, not gonna lie.
So, you know what I want to do here? If you guys would ever want to join me, I'm more than welcome. But I want to do live breaks, but I want to do the real reactions. So I want to open that pack of cards and like go through them in 3 seconds and be like, shit, 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 shit. God
Yeah.
damn it. That's that's like really what they are. Like people talk all this, they're talking through them. Oh, that's cool. That's no. The real reaction is shit, 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 shit. Waste of money. Next
Yeah.
one. All right, that one's all right. That's worth like $1. Let's keep going.
And that's big in the Pokemon space because these guys and they're big. They got millions and millions of followers. You got
Mhm.
like um Pokérev's a big one that I watch. And the guy, some people don't like him because he's out for the money, but it's like, listen, he's making so much money doing this. You
Oh,
know, he
yeah, it's the same as
have you
like the
seen him,
trading
Andrew?
cards.
I have seen Pokerev and
Yeah,
other creators on TikTok, Instagram, you name it. They'll do live breaks, or they'll just open up their own collection and
right.
on a live.
And
And
the best part about it is they get so many followers and they make so much money that they don't pay anything for all those cards. They're all free.
That's the
Like,
thing. You buy a really rare booster box for like we'll say 15,000 bucks and you sell the packs for a few $100s a piece and there's 36 packs in it. You probably make your money back just like that and then you get paid for the hour and a half 2 hour stream on YouTube with
yeah.
200 300,000 people watching you. Like that's way more money than the
Mhm.
booster box ever was. So like that's how they're making all this money.
And did you see like Drizzy was buying them and like go looking for the Michael Jordan rookie card and stuff, like paying like hundreds of thousands of dollars for cards and they just open them up on, live whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it. That's kind of how the Pokemon thing exploded. Is that Logan Paul dude
Yep.
bought a bunch of cards and they were fake. They were like GI Joe cards, but then he found he got some real ones and opened up and uh I think Steve Aoki was doing it. There was a bunch of celebrities that were buying like first edition super super rare packs and open them up on YouTube and hitting some big cards, but
So
just
you
the
just
views.
you kind of led us right into the other thing I was going to ask you guys about. So like how prevalent are the fakes and like how do you even tell if they're fake or not? Like how would you even like if you're going buying single cards somewhere or whatever, like how do you know if it's a real or fake card?
That's a good question. I know from what I've seen videos of they have like especially at like swap meets or flea markets or stuff like that, they have fake packs.
Yeah,
But you can tell fairly easily if you pay attention. I've never seen them in real life. I've never really went and looked for them in those places.
because I've
Um,
saw them like advertised places for like way cheaper than they should be going for.
Right.
And you like right away something's off, but like for the people that do buy them and then open them up and go out and sell the singles, like, what are
yeah.
you looking for?
Well, I know the big thing with Pokemon, and you don't want to do this to a card you might think is expensive, but if you rip them in half, the ink will you'll be able to see it the whole way through the card. So if you get like a shitty one and you want to test it, that's the way to do it. And if it's fake, it'll just be like white cardboard on the inside.
Interesting.
Correct. And then if I remember correctly, if the pack has like crimples on the top where it
Exactly.
looks
Yep.
different from other packs that you've seen, that's a red flag immediately.
Yeah.
So
If it's like
anyone that's listening, make sure you listen to these two gentlemen right here. They just gave you two tall tale signs of a fake pack.
look, if anybody's interested in purchasing Pokemon product, I highly suggest doing your research of what the product looks like,
Yeah.
how it's supposed to look like sealed, and just try to find fake ones online so you know exactly what to look for so that you don't get ripped off of your hard-earned money, dude. Like
Yep.
everybody is doing this as a hobby or just trying to have fun. And if you get screwed over of your money, that sucks at the end of the day, man.
Yeah, and if you got the bankroll to buy like a real expensive box that you want, you should probably try to reach out and find someone close to an expert um to kind of help you verify and I that's not something I'll ever plan on doing. A little too much money for me, but if I were to, I'm sure as hell not gonna have the guy ship it to me. I'm probably gonna get on a plane and go try to see it in person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's too much money to be on a whim.
Yeah.
So the last kind of thing I'd written down, and I apologize to you guys and the audience. There's going to have to be parts of this I cut out because I kind of lost connection there for a second. But I was looking at the kids' cards again, and I noticed are like the shiny ones like the specials? Like are those ones that are maybe more valuable than others, or does the shiny not make a difference really?
Well, I mean, when we were kids, it was just about the holographics because
Mhm.
that was the big thing, But now they have reverse holographics, which could be worth like 6 cents or a dime, depending on what it is. You could get a regular holographic that's worth maybe not much more than that, and then there's different levels of cards. Now they got like just regular V cards. They got like a V Max. They got rainbow cards. They got secret rares.
Mhm.
The big cards, the chase cards, which Andrew was referring to earlier, are called alternate art cards.
Yep.
So if you get those are like the big things now. It's certainly what I want. That's what everybody wants when they're opening a new set. Um, Basically, it's the same like gameplay attributes on like we'll say like a Blastoise. It's the same uh moves, damage, power, all that kind of stuff as a regular like Blastoise V, but the artwork's like unbelievably intricate and like really cool and interesting. And that's what kind of gets people to buy the boxes and go fish for packs and things like that. So um they're very hard to hit. Um
Mhm.
I've hit a few of them. Trying to think of the biggest one that I hit. Uh Evolving
I
Skies, I've hit several alternate arts worth over $100 a card, and that might not sound like a lot of money, but that'll appreciate over time. These are like brand new cards. Um, I hit a Rainbow Charizard out of Brilliant Stars out of the first
Nice.
few packs that I hit. So that's a big one. It's not an alternate art. The alternate art Charizard, where he's like fighting Venusaur, that's like the cream of the crop right now. Like everybody wants that one. I haven't come across it yet, but there's only, I don't know, maybe 4 to 5, maybe 6 alternate art cards per set, except for like, Evolving Skies. There's probably like a dozen of them. So, um, investment wise, those are the sets that have a lot of high value cards that you want to invest in and keep sealed. And then later down the road, when they're out of print and Pokemon's not making them anymore, that's when the value hits. So,
Yeah.
we were talking about the celebrations when I wanted to mention this. I have like, I think 12 elite trainer boxes from
Oh,
celebrations, which are like $50 a piece, but um, they're it's the 25th anniversary, Bossman. So they reprinted a bunch of the old cards,
You
Charizard,
you
Blastoise,
need
all
to
that.
you need to make sure you have some extra homeowners insurance on your collection.
They're insured. They're
Uh,
insured. Don't worry. Fireproof box, the whole 9 yards.
so I'm
Um,
I'm gonna kind of lean towards some of the other stuff here, but Andrew, in closing on Pokemon, do you have anything else you want to touch on before we move on to some other rabbit holes?
if anybody's interested in some epic like reverse holo cards, I highly suggest checking out the Legendary Collection set from Pokemon. Those
yeah.
are the most badass reverse holo cards ever. Like you will literally see them and just be blown away. Exactly what Funkhauser said. If you're looking to a set and you see an alternate art card, chase it, get it, and hold on to it because those cards are absolutely insane. Best alt art card that I've ever hit, I would have to say, is the Starmie V card alt art with Misty.
Oh, nice.
That when I hit that, I was like, "Oh, that's it. I'm good with Astral Radiance." I was like,
Yeah, that's a
"Oh,
good one.
rock solid," and that's everything I have to say about Pokemon and guys that are getting into it. Just have fun, straight up.
Yep. Yep. Definitely. Definitely. So in closing, old stuff or new stuff?
All of the stuff.
Just
Yeah, I
none of
mean,
it. just because I like grew up on the old stuff and vintage cards hit a little different.
Yeah.
I would say old, but there's like some artwork from modern cards that still blow me away. So
Yeah, the thing that I keep going back to is the artwork. I think that's the coolest thing. I wish my daughter's a good artist, and I know some people that are good artists, but like that's the coolest part about it. So down the road, if LUDE Presents ever gets into any animation artwork, I'm gonna have some fun with that.
Last point I want to make is that if you're looking for like a financial investment, I suggest trying to buy some more modern stuff and just forget about it. Stash
Yeah.
it away for 10 years or so and then forget about it. But if you want to improve like your collection, like Andrew was saying, he's going to get the Team Rocket set, which I think is awesome. That's when you go back for the for like the original cards, because they're interesting to you. That's what it's not something you're probably going to sell. It's something
Yeah.
that you want.
So I'm gonna borrow a line here from like all the the financial advice videos I watch. This podcast is not for financial advice. Please make your own decisions. Do
You're
not
not an
listen to
investment banker.
Funkhauser.
do not listen to me.
Oh God! All right, that was fun. So in the same realm, I came across something today on the internet that I thought was pretty interesting. We're gonna kind of leave Pokemon and we're gonna go down a rabbit hole. I saw that there's such thing as a Toy Hall of Fame. Did you guys know that?
I had no idea.
I had no idea. Now you
So
got me
it's
intrigued.
similar to like the for example, NFL Hall of Fame. So every year there's possible inductees and they're voted on, and certain ones get into the Toy Hall of Fame. So Funkhauser, Andrew, I've got the list here this year. I want you to give me your votes for who's going into the 2022 Toy Hall of Fame. You ready?
I like this.
I'm ready.
All right. American Bingo board game. It was like before Bingo was in the bingo halls. It was a board game, okay? Which, I'm not going to give you my votes just yet, but I think that like has to be one of them because Bingo's huge. So how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 12 of them. We'll each vote for 3 of them, put them in the Hall of Fame, okay?
All right.
All right. So we got Bingo. We got Breyer horses from 1951. No idea what that is. It's like horses with paint on them.
Oh,
We
no.
got the board game Catan, the Settlers of Catan. Never heard of that.
I've heard of that.
I've heard of that. I've never played it though.
Light Bright. I remember Light Bright.
Oh yeah.
No, I remember that.
Masters of the Universe action figures.
Oh wow. Okay.
Nerf Toys.
Oh hell yeah.
Yep.
Pinata paper mache filled with small toys, confetti, fruits, candies, coins. I don't know what it's like a it's a pinata. Okay.
It's a pinata.
All right.
It's a pinata.
It's showing me a picture of a stereo. I'm like, what the hell is that? All right. The card game Phase 10.
Okay.
Oh, I remember
Pound-
that. Yeah.
Yep.
Pound Puppies. I don't know. That's like a
What?
kid's thing.
That sounds familiar. I don't know what it is, but I remember hearing about it.
It's like a baby. You take care of your dog or something. All right, there's a card game called Racco. There's some sort of artistic thing called Spirograph, and then there's a top, like you spin the top. So which of those 3 things, or if you remember 1 or 2, what stood out to you there going into the Hall of Fame?
Phase 10 for me because I know that
Nerf guns.
Yep. Nerf guns for sure. Phase 10 because that's a old card game that's been around forever, but I've played it with my in-laws and all that.
Yeah, I remember playing it with my parents when I was younger. It was fun.
I would have to say my 3 were Bingo, Light Bright, and Nerf gun.
Light Bright was cool. Bingo. I mean, I guess.
Right. Well, if we're
How is that not in the Hall of Fame already?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, how
I
is
don't
that?
know.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It said the first played game was 1530.
What?
So I don't know how that's even I don't know how that's on there. Like you said, I don't know how it's not on there, but
That's wild.
all right. So yeah, so National Toy Hall of Fame. It's in New York if anybody wants to visit it. Looks pretty interesting. All right. Another I gave you guys some homework. Another funny article that I kind of came across was I think it was it's like a magazine you read in a doctor's office, but it was like Taste of Home magazine, and it had the best sandwich of every state. And I kind of looked through there and I picked out like some of the best sandwiches, and then I looked some of the worst sandwiches. So
Yeah, I
did
got
you
it
guys
queued up
get
right now. I was reading it.
did you guys get a look at any? What kind of stood out to you for, either best or worst sandwiches in the country?
There were some interesting ones. The big thing, well, not the big thing, but as I'm scrolling down here now, the Denver omelet was originally a sandwich and not like a real omelet, which I think was
That's a fun fact.
that's weird. Yeah. I don't know what to say about that. There's some good sandwiches on here. Love a Cubano, obviously a PB&J. There's several kinds of pulled pork. This and I'll defer to you guys, but there's a point I want to make about this list once we're kind of nearing the end.
All right. So I guess I'll kind of take it from there. Some of the ones. So I found out from looking at it, like, in the end, I'm a turkey man, because like all the ones I picked were like turkey. So I had there was one in Delaware called the Bobby. I remember having this at like there were burritos like this, like a Thanksgiving sandwich, but I had a Thanksgiving burrito. I had turkey stuffing, cranberry sauce, all that.
Yeah, the Gobblerito from Mad Max.
Yeah. Yep. And then another one the Maine lobster roll. I mean, that's amazing. I remember our Vegas lobster rolls. Never anything like that. And then Kentucky. Kentucky was the dark horse. Kentucky has one called the Hot Brown. It's got turkey, bacon, gravy, tomato. That sounds awesome.
It sounds great, but what a terrible name.
Yeah, it's not a great name.
The
worst one, I think the worst one was Georgia, the pimento sandwich. I will not touch that. Not go near it. I don't want anything to do with a pimento sandwich.
I disagree.
I'm glad that you said that, because I'm not a fan of that sandwich at all. I looked at it and I'm like, that's not appealing.
Yeah, it's just cheese, right?
I like pimento cheese. It's different. I don't want that as the star of my sandwich, but I would like that maybe like smeared on top of a burger.
Okay. I mean, that's more, I can understand that better, but just straight pimento, I wouldn't be able to do that. No way.
Right.
What about the loose meat sandwich from Iowa? That looks really freaking boring.
So I actually went out to Iowa with my buddy Rob and his John, who we talked about, the GoFundMe. Their parents are from Idaho or Iowa. They're from Iowa. So we went out there. Yeah, we went out there and visited Rob's dad like 5-6 years ago or so. And they made these in a crock pot for like football Saturday. And they call them made rights, which is what they mentioned in the little article there. And I was like, what do you mean a made right? Like, what does that mean? And they're like, that's just what they're called. And I'm like, is this like a sloppy Joe? They're like, kinda.
Yeah, so what did you call it, Andrew? A loose meat?
I mean, that's what it is.
That's literally what it's called, a loose meat sandwich from Iowa. It's like
I think they should stick with sloppy Joe.
It's like
it's different though.
Iowa invented the sloppy Joe, and while that messy miracle of meat and sauce is certainly loved in the Hawkeye State, its sauceless cousin is actually more popular. So that's why I can't even call that a sloppy Joe, because it's missing the sauce. And I'm like, damn.
Could you imagine being a writer for this magazine and getting to describe sandwiches in detail like that?
Yeah. I'd like to point out the Missouri. It's called the St. Paul, and it's invented by Chinese immigrants. And it is hot egg foo young with mayonnaise, pickles, lettuce, and tomato on white bread.
I saw that, and I have no idea what to think of that.
I have no interest in that whatsoever.
What is hot foo young?
Egg foo young is like it's a Chinese dish. It's like Chinese food shoved on freaking white bread with mayo and lettuce and tomato.
I'm gonna have to give that one a. Well, I wouldn't say pass, but I'd be very. That brings up harmful memories of Funkhauser remembers Mugu Gaipan.
Peking.
Yeah, anything related to Mugu Gaipan, I'm kind of against. But.
Yeah. The Reuben's obviously a staple.
Oh, I had a Reuben today. That's a really good sandwich.
Yeah, the patty melt, that's a great one. There's man, I love a Monte Cristo. When's the last time you had a Monte Cristo?
Vegas. They're too sweet though.
Good.
They're good, but they're a little too sweet.
Yep, that's for sure.
So I'm gonna let House wrap this one up. Andrew, do you have anything else about The top sandwiches of every state from home and taste.
I'm just looking at the sandwiches now, just from the name itself, the Italian grinder from Rhode Island. Sounds
Grinders,
pretty
hoagies
wild.
and grinders from Adam Sandler. Remember that?
Yeah. I remember Town Market had like hot sandwiches called grinders. I remember.
There's a place down here that has grinders. They are good. I think that just means they put them in like the pizza oven or something.
Yeah, I think it's just like a toasted Italian hoagie.
Funkhauser, what was your wrap-up comment to what you were saying there?
So the point that I want to make is like that age-old stupid argument that people have is like, oh, is this a sandwich? Is a hot dog a sandwich? Is a taco a sandwich? Is a hamburger a sandwich? And I just think that's like the stupidest thing ever. You can make anything a sandwich. Do you hold it in your hand? Like that's the whole thing. It's between some form of carbohydrate that becomes handheld, and you shovel it in your face. Like that's a sandwich. I just think that whole argument is so stupid.
I will disagree with you on that one because I will look at a hot dog and call it a hot dog. I will call a taco, but I will never, ever call them a sandwich. I'm just there like, nope.
I agree they're tacos, but like, I guess you could make anything a sandwich. So if you had, I guess we'll put it this way. If you had a hot dog and you cut it up and put it on like a hamburger bun and ate it that way, would you think of it as a sandwich?
I would.
I just don't think shapes should construct what a sandwich is. Now, I agree. I wouldn't call it one. I'm sure as hell not going to call it one. So I agree with you there. But I guess the point I was making is why people care so much about that. You guys have heard that argument, right? People get like very opinionated on.
Well, I can tell just by listening to you that they do. Jesus Christ.
It's annoying to hear. It's like, is this a sandwich? I don't know. Just eat it. Like, who cares?
It certainly is annoying to hear. I guess it's just people that have nothing better to do and just basically just complain about anything and everything.
Yeah, backseat drivers.
There's a weird thing in like Australia. If you go to like Popeyes and get a chicken sandwich, they call it a chicken burger. Like that's what they call it.
Have you guys ever been out of the country, like to eat in like other countries?
I mean, Canada.
I've been to Aruba.
Poutine. What's is the food there any different, or is it kind of Americanized food?
It's kind of Americanized. There's certain parts where they'll have like island food and soul food and whatnot, but then it'll be like a mix of everything closer to where the tourists are located. So it is very Americanized, but that was a overall fun, badass trip out of the U.S.
Yeah, I liked watching. I remember they're both off TV now. They both got in trouble for different things, but Anthony Bourdain and Andrew Zimmern. I used to like watching those shows.
Oh yeah, Zimmern did get jammed up. I liked him too. Yeah.
And then did Bourdain, did he get kicked off TV before he passed away, or was that one and the same thing?
I don't know. He had a show on like CNN, so he was just jumping networks because he's so likable.
Yeah.
Basically because he's an asshole. I mean, I loved him though. He's awesome.
I would love to be an asshole at all times like that.
Yeah. He's talking about how many drugs he used to do.
Yeah, it's hard to get through life acting like that though.
Correct. You have to be a likable asshole. You can't just be an asshole that nobody likes.
I think maybe I give off that vibe. I might be Funkhauser. You know me more than others. I mean, I might be a likable asshole, huh?
I don't know that I'm going to give you that.
I might just be an asshole.
No. I think the other way around. I don't think you're an asshole, and I also don't think that you are good enough at anything to be compared to Anthony Bourdain. With all due respect.
All right. Oh man, that was fun. Speaking of like food, I have like a thing I write down like all different food things so I will tell you guys this and I'll tell the audience this. Like the reason this podcast started for me, not Anthony, we're talking about Anthony Bourdain. Oh my God. Let me fix my brain for a second here and think about where I'm at. All right, Andrew. All right. So the reason this podcast started is, during the pandemic and stuff, I'd be up at night. I couldn't sleep. And I just started thinking, like, before you go to bed, you think. And like everybody does this, but like I started writing shit down. And like as I started writing shit down, like more stuff and more stuff, and it, I started making lists and I started making charts and and I got like all these ideas. So like that would be like where this started from. It like I tell my wife it's a midlife crisis, but really all it is writing shit down. So like, but anyway, in that list of writing things down, like these odd things pop through my head. So like one of the things I wrote down about food is like, I know this is probably out there and people know about this, but like nachos. So like you have nachos, you have dip. Why don't people like spoon the dip into their mouth and then put the nacho in their mouth so it's not a mess?
I don't know. I don't know why people don't do it that way.
Like pico de gallo, beef. Think about how easy it would be just to spoon it in your mouth and then the chip. No mess. No
Bossman,
hands.
is everything all right at home?
Everything's fine, man. I just love staying up and writing down these weird things.
I would say it's easier to you don't need, I don't know. If you're gonna do that, you either got to use two hands or you got to hold a dip in your mouth until you get the chip in there.
Yeah, but I mean, it can be one and the same. Like spoon goes in, chip goes in. It's like a boom, boom, boom.
Well, then you could dirty a spoon when you could just use a chip to be your spoon.
Would you rather dirty your hands and your mouth and your shirt and your pants? Answer that.
I mean, I don't.
Well, I'm a very, very clean eater. Basically, I try to eat as close to the table as possible to prevent accidents like that happening.
God, I wish my kids were clean eaters.
You're eating nachos, you're gonna dirty your pants either way, Rock, one way or another.
Did you hear about my brother went on and on about how I'm filthy because I have dirt on my floor in my house?
No.
So I don't, you guys can speak to this if you'd like. I don't know. I'd be kind of scared to touch on this topic with Mr. LUDE June out there. He's a loose cannon. But so I asked him his preferred method of walking around the house because I wear like slippers,
Yeah.
or like flip flops. And he said he prefers bare feet. And my response to bare feet was, doesn't it, like I said, I like bare feet, but like when I'm walking around and I step on like a stone from outside or whatever it may be, you step on things and you have to brush it off your foot.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah, I hate that. And he's like, well, I don't step on shit. I'm like, what do you mean you don't step on shit? He's like, I got somebody cleans for that. I'm like, so you're telling me you have somebody comes in your house like 3 times a day and sweeps the floor? He's like, no, why? Are you disgusting like your house or something? I'm like, no, but like, things get on the floor. Yeah, he's got like a cleaner that must sweep his house 4 or 5 times a day. So we're going to have to talk to him about that.
Well, that must be nice.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the middle. I'm a barefoot guy. I love being barefoot, but since I got my cat, he is a Persian and he is a very messy eater. So he gets cat food all over. And when I step on it, I get pissed. I hate it. But
that's the deal breaker for me. Too many stops to brush your foot off. And then like getting into bed, if something's there, you got to brush it off. I'm like, nah, it's too much work. Too much work. So Andrew, this is going to be your position on household footwear apparel. Where are you at?
I'm 50-50, just depends on how I feel. There's certain days where I'll wear the slippers for comfort, and then there's other days where I'll just walk barefoot around the house. I do have one of those sharks. I call him a freaking Terminator that goes around the house and cleans the floors.
Oh, like a Roomba?
Yeah, a Roomba.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
But
does it work good?
It is good, but the only problem is if it's unsupervised and it goes into a room with cables or anything like that, you're excuse my language, your shit's because literally my wife came home one day and found the MacBook that was in our bedroom freaking tossed out into the living room because the Roomba absolutely got the cord and just mangled it.
That is not good.
That's why I call it the Terminator.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's scary.
And I was like, damn it. So
and when I say I stay up late, it's not really that late. It's just my family goes to bed early because we have the kids and we have to wake up early, whatever. So like when I'm up, I read articles too. So I'm going to share with you guys a funny article about food since we're on that topic. Well, we got off it, but we're on it. Did you think it's possible to die from eating too much?
Oh, for sure.
Probably, yeah.
If there's a possibility of you dying from drinking water too fast, in regards to eating too much, eventually your body won't be able to process that food, have enough space for it, etc. And just like you're in for a bad time, dude.
I don't know if there's any stories about it like in current times, but I was reading about the story of King Adolf Frederick from Sweden in the 1700s, and it said that he had a big meal of lobster, caviar, kippers, sauerkraut, boiled meats, and turnips. And it says you would think that was enough to skip dessert, but no, not this guy. So, have you ever heard of semlas? SEMLAS, some
No.
kind of bun dessert from Sweden?
Nope,
Uh,
negative.
Instead of eating like the normal one or two, he ate 14, and then he died that night.
Now, what did he die from? Because I was going to bring up just like the sheer capacity, you could rupture your stomach.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was 1700, so I don't think they know what he died
Yeah.
from, but it just says that his digestive tracts stopped functioning, his condition steadily worsened, and he died a few hours later.
I'd also say it might even depend on what it is, because if you got like, tens of thousands of milligrams of like sodium in you, that could be an issue.
Yeah.
I don't know if that could kill you, but it could certainly hurt you.
And I was thinking it's 1700, so really we don't know if that's what did it, but I'd like to see if it's happened like in modern times,
Well, put on TLC. I'm sure you could find somebody.
Oh God, you go TLC, we're talking extreme cheapskates. Don't get me started on that.
Extreme
Yeah.
couponing.
In regards to like overeating and possibly ending your life, I don't know. I just remember that one lady that was at a competition that she drank like 2 or 3 gallons of water super fast and beat everyone, and then boom, like I think like an hour later died. So
Is that like a hot dog eating contest type thing?
yeah, she just basically had to like beat out the competition, and she drank 2 to 3 gallons of water super
Oh,
fast. And you know how you're supposed to drink water throughout the day?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Yeah, no, she did it in like a matter of like minutes or however long the competition was. She beat everybody else. She won, but then she goes home and dies a couple of like an hour or two later. Like that's
So you guys, this is actually a good little rabbit hole we just went down. So we're talking about water, we're talking about that, but let's talk about the good side of it. So Funkhauser, I know you do, you're a chef, you cook. Andrew, I know you do fitness and things like that. So I need this because I know one of you guys said something about drinking water. I have a really hard time drinking water. I just
Really?
I can't do it, and I need to do it. So give me and give our audience like one little tip or trick to help us mid 30-year-olds or however old everybody is, like help us get healthier. What's like one little thing you do or can tell us that would help?
Well, Andrew's the fitness guy. I'll let him lead this off.
All right.
Me personally, I'll put in like a supplement that has like a really good flavor. That's what I enjoy doing. So I'll normally do BCAAs or a hydration product. And that'll help me drink water throughout the day. Specifically, I gravitate towards other things, right? I would love to be drinking a lemonade or a Coke or this
Yeah.
or that. And I think, just to be honest with you, I think water is really boring, right? It's bland.
It is.
So if you add like something to it that improves the flavor, like what I do, it'll make it a whole lot easier throughout the day. So it doesn't have to be a supplement. If you use like a Mio that's non-caffeinated, if you'll use like a Gatorade hydration powder,
Got that liquid IV now.
Yep, exactly. Just make it easier and enjoyable for you, so that you're able to drink that water throughout your day.
Give me this is like pre-audience, pre-sponsors, and like I always like on each episode I'm like, who would your sponsor be? So Andrew, give me your favorite supplement that one day will come on here and sponsor us and give us lifetime supplies.
That's that's funny. I work for a supplement company called Ghost.
All right.
And
I've heard of that.
yeah, so we're one of the first companies to bring authentic licensed collabs to the sports nutrition market. So Swedish Fish, Sour Patch Kids, Welch's, Chips Ahoy, Nutter Butter, Oreo, you name it. And so those authentic flavors taste amazing, incredible, makes these supplements taste like to the next level. But the formula and the overall product is healthy.
Do they make energy drinks?
We do make energy drinks as well, Ghost Energy. And so Warhead sour watermelon, Swedish
Yeah.
orange cream, citrus, Sour Patch Kids, blue raspberry, red berry.
All right. Well,
Is-
you've piqued
oh.
my interest. You've piqued my interest.
I've seen Instagram ads for it, I think.
So, yeah, honestly, that's the brand that I found about 5 to 6 years ago. And since day one, I used it and it was right for me. That's the most important part, right? That was the supplement brand that I found that was right for me. And then I started working for them when I was out in Atlanta. So,
Okay, cool.
Nice.
it's been like that ever since.
All right. Well,
You beat that.
I know we're about an hour. I know we have to cut some of it out when I had the technical difficulties, but
We kept
think
it
that-
together while you were off.
Yeah, we
All
did
right.
keep it together. We were having fun.
Awesome. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to kind of wrap it up here. I'm going to save my question to ponder. That's something I want to do every episode. I'm going to leave us and the audience thinking about it. But we're going to do that at the very end. So in wrapping up, I just want to say I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to kind of, say your goodbyes and, bring up your platforms again one more time. So in closing, I just want to say the background of the episode tonight, you guys can kind of see it right now. But this isn't what the premise of this episode was. It says Make Me Believe, Rabbit Holes, LUDE present. So LUDE presents Rabbit Holes, Make Me Believe. So every episode's going to be rabbit holes, but once in a while we're going to have these Make Me Believe episodes coming up. We had this guy Tex from Texas Front Porch last week. He was awesome, and he's put me in contact with some other people. So what we're going to do is we're going to have people come on here and tell us about these different things that a lot of the public knows nothing about. For example, just looking back on his episode, we talked about Bigfoot, we talked about mermaids, we talked about werewolves and stuff like that. So it's things that are could be tall tales, could be whatever. But we're going to bring people on here. They're going to tell us about it. We're going to make our own opinions and own dissertations from the episodes, and we're just going to have fun with it. So that's one thing that's kind of coming. Other than that, we're just going to kind of come on here and just talk about nothing. If people want to talk about nothing and 30 different topics in one show, then this is the place for you. So that's kind of where we're going. With that being said, go ahead, guys, and just give a goodbye to everyone, and I'll end it with a question to ponder here.
Funkhauser, if you want to go first.
Sure, yeah. So again, Matty Funkhauser. You can find Living Room Champs Pod anywhere. Me and my co-host Jerry Two Chains just put out an episode. We recorded. I got to edit, and it'll probably be live tomorrow morning as a week 3 recap of the NFL, or week 2, and some upcoming smash picks and kind of some buy or sell options for just kind of the rest of the year going forward. So again, we're mostly fantasy football based, but Mikey and Len on the Champs, they got their pick show. You can find us at Living Room Champs anywhere, LRC on Twitter, I believe. Living Room Champs at Gmail. You want to throw us an email, we'll be happy to try and answer it on the show. But other than that, Andrew, it was good kind of talking shop with you. Bossman, pleasure as always, and can't wait to come back on.
Thanks, sir.
Sweet. Now it's my turn. So yeah, guys, Andrew Calvino, super happy to be on here. It was a whole lot of fun just talking about Pokemon and so many random topics, but this was fun, dude. And host of the ContentInspire podcast. You can find that on Spotify, Apple, you name it. Give it a chance, give it a listen. And honestly, just thank you guys for having me on and for checking out this episode.
Yes. Well, both of you, I enjoyed having you. And, I'm going to kind of wait until the end of the episodes or maybe after, I don't know. But I would say you're both invited to come back anytime because you guys were, you held it while I was gone. And I appreciate that.
Hey, somebody's got to do it.
Yep. So with that being said, I'm going to end our episode here with our question to ponder. So you guys ready?
Ready. So
I don't know if this is really a question or if this is just like a self I don't know. It's like your tolerance. Like, what's your tolerance level? So I just want everybody to think about this, and then maybe on the next episode we'll research it and talk about what the truth is. But you know how you're going through your fridge or your cabinet and you pull something out, and you just happen to look at the date on it, and it's not anywhere near today.
Mm-hmm.
So like, that's the question to ponder. Like, the best by date, is it really the best by date? Is it still okay to use, or should you throw it away?
Yeah, 'cause best by doesn't necessarily mean like, hey, do not consume this.
Exactly. So like, if it's best by January and you're in July, is it okay? If you're in December, is it okay? If it's best by 2020, should that be something to worry about? A lot of things that could be a problem or could not be a problem. I don't know. I want to research the answer to that.
If the date's expired, I'm tossing it. Like, I'm not gonna try. I'm not gonna risk it.
It depends on what it is, and in my opinion, I think it really, really depends on what it is. Because like eggs, that's something, they last a long time, and sometimes you forget about them. But I learned a little trick. If you put an egg, in water and it floats, then it's bad. Throw it away.
Oh my gosh, that's valuable information.
It is, yeah. But if it sinks, then it's good.
God, look at that. You know, Funkhauser, you just saved people's lives by telling them how to test an egg. Thank you, sir.
You gotta save that $1.75 for, a dozen eggs.
It's more than that now. It's more than that.
But also like produce and stuff, like if you buy like, I don't know, bagged salad or spinach or something, just look at it. Like you should be able to tell.
Just look at it.
If it's like a canned item, it's probably fine.
Come on. You're treating me like I'm some kind of animal here. No, I'm not going to eat brown lettuce, sir.
You never know.
Like a sauce, like a ketchup. If ketchup says best by January, and you're in March, can you eat that?
Something like ketchup, I'll go get a new one, man. I'll go buy a new one.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm not talking about the saving of money here. I'm just talking about the ease of it. If you're having fries and you want ketchup, can I eat the ketchup?
Smell it. I think smelling's a good barometer.
Well, we need some other method because people like me can't smell.
That's
so
true. Since I got COVID, I had it twice. My sense of smell has not been the same ever since.
Oh, that's not good, man. I've heard other people say that too.
Yeah, it comes and goes. After the first bout with COVID, which was January of 2021, I get it New Year's every year. I'm sure I'll get it again this year. But it was bad. But then I used like this. It was lemon, clove, rose, and eucalyptus essential oils. And you can train your senses back. And I got it back in like 2 weeks. And I never did it for the second time. And it's still not very good.
You just gave me your sponsor. Where'd you get these essential oils? I'm going to try that.
Yeah, it's a little company. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called Amazon.com. So if you Google that,
that's funny.
Google that. My buddy Jeff should send them out. He packs everything up in his garage. Real nice, and he actually has a nice little deal. He can prime it for you.
What were the oils again?
It was lemon, rose, eucalyptus, and clove.
What, and you put them all together or what?
Those 4 scents. No, you don't mix them. Basically, what you do is you take them and you smell them individually certain times of the day, and basically you get to the point where you don't have to look at the label. You know which one smells like which because they're somewhat subtle, but they hit different parts of your sense of smell. Like you have taste buds like bitter, sweet, sour, whatever. I guess your olfactory system is similar to that. And those 4 hit all different kinds, so you can kind of train it back to where you recognize these smells.
All right. Well, hey, not only valuable information today, but potentially life-altering information. So, gentlemen, thank you. LUDE presents Rabbit Holes. We'll be back. Hope to have you guys back. Thanks for joining.
Oh, no problem. Later, guys.
You boys.
All righty. We'll see ya.
Hold my tongue never. I say what I feel. Look you in the eye. Never ran, never will. Hold my own destiny. Both hands in the wheel. In the darkness they found light. So at the top of your lungs scream, this ain't life. So when they move left, you move right.